Today, we talk about thumbnail. Shut the fuck up. So, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but, it is what it is. But yeah, I gotta give some final thoughts on this. Maybe final thoughts, I can't promise shit. But check it. Finally did some lace swaps. This is what I've settled on. Hey, yo! The expected tag hanging on, plus the alternating color laces. On this end, I just couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do it. Had to take them off. And on top of that, settled on the double green. My mom was in town. She saw me, swapping out the different lace combos, trying them out, and she's like, ooh, I like those greens. So, settled on the greens. Very comfy, very awesome. I just want to talk about this in the context of, okay, so, between the two, which one is truly the shoe of the year? Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to go based on Complex, which will have this bad boy. I think they may have some validity to it when you think about it. So let me just tell you a couple things. First off, there's no denying the power of this guy. Okay? You have to realize that when images first surfaced of Virgil's collaboration with Nike, the 10, the whole project, it all started with this big boy. All right? Any casual fan slash semi-casual fan slash semi-serious sneakerhead will recognize this as the pinnacle flagship model of the 10 collection. All right? But with that said, you cannot discredit this for a couple reasons. Let's talk about it.
Let's give them something to talk about.
All right. The Jordan 1 resembles a classic Chicago 1 colorway Jordan 1, more so than this resembles your average Presto. All right. The reason I'm leaning towards this as the shoe of the year compared to the Jordan 1 is if you compare this to your usual general release Presto, it is completely different. It is a completely new shoe. You have this over-exaggerated extra tongue piece, going over the classic tongue. Add on the laces, add on the swoosh, and then of course this little bad boy. And then the masking tape detail on the bottom, on the back, and then the material used for the upper is completely different from Flyknit and completely different from your classic OG Presto material. So all that said, I'm sorry, you got to give it to this guy. I mean, it's a completely new shoe in some respects. Okay. Now, the other thing that not a lot of people are talking about, but I'm gonna talk about, is the laces. And I'll tell you why. Now, I would say the hallmark of this entire 10 collection is these shoelaces.
Ooh, look at the curves, though. Look at the shoelaces. Ooh, 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 the shoelaces. Ooh, yo, the off-white. Ooh, off-white.
Without these shoelaces, this collaboration is half of what it is. I mean, the shoelaces are half of the shoe. And I can't say the last time I said that about a shoe. So take that for what it's worth. But it goes a little deeper than that. When you compare the Jordan 1 laces that came with this set compared to the Presto laces that came with this set, it's a slam dunk for the Presto that these laces are way higher quality than this. I mean, if you just compare what the laces look like, let's compare oranges to oranges. But in all seriousness, if you look at the Jordan 1 laces, you see it's a much thicker band. It just, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's hard to tell on camera, but it's just a very different quality lace. It's much thicker. It's much more difficult to get through the lace holes of the actual Jordan 1 shoe. Now compare that to this lace from the Presto. The lace itself just looks like a much more high quality lace. The ropage, if I can call it that, is a much higher quality, much thinner, more sleek, more refined. Even the lettering itself, just much more chic. And yeah, it's much easier to lace within the shoe itself. So I would say as a quality lace, these come across way better and way more OD than the Jordan 1s. Plus just everything else we're talking about, I gotta give it to the Presto. But it's very difficult to just simply snatch that title of shoe of the year away from this model. I mean, after all, it is the flagship model. It's the most recognizable model of the 10. It'll probably be recognized long after we've gone past the hype of this 10 collection. So, you got to keep all those things in mind. On top of the fact that it's a Jordan. I mean, Jordan is the pinnacle product Nike has made. Without Jordan brand, there is no Nike as we know it today. So you got to respect it from that standpoint. You got to respect the Chicago colorway in reference to Virgil, his tutelage under Kanye, the reference to Jordan, all of them being from Chicago itself. So got to keep all those things in mind. On top of the fact that it lends itself to the zip tie more so than any of the other models, in my opinion, and it is what it is. So, with that said, that's why it was so difficult for me to pick between the two, and I ended up paying for both of them, even though I would have loved to have a breakaway model that was better than the other, but they were both fantastic. If I had to pick between the two in terms of a favorite child, I'd have to go with the Presto. I'm sorry, but hey, at the end of the day, I don't have to make a choice. I got both, bitch. And I don't mean that to flex. I just mean that to be happy and gracious and grateful that I got them both. Y'all can hate. It is what it is. I hope you don't, though. You know, I want to have people like me. But with that said, I hope you learned something. And we'll see you on the next one. We out. Peace.
Upset. Up white. Brrr. Woo.
We in this.
Bye.